Previously on the Exploring India edition.
They know that, we always provide a 5-star service.
We're the best. Anything that you need for your trip, we are here to help. We at Show Leaders Travel, we want you to make memories for life.
We make memories for life.
This holiday that they can remember for the rest of their lives.
A time warp to the era of the Mogul empires and the rule of the Maharaja. The Exploring India edition of the Faizal show takes you on an adventurous journey, immersed in rich culture and history. India is the epitome of wisdom surrounded by history. Explore the bustling streets, the cuisine, and the life and path treaded by sages on this epic journey through India.
Hello and welcome to the show. Well, I certainly hope that you've enjoyed the last episode of the India edition of the show. This one is also bound to be very exciting. But the difference is that we don't really take off to India on the last episode. At the end of this episode we do. But clearly, before you travel, there's lots of preparations, and that's exactly what we do in this particular episode. Look through preparations. Well, we visit the home of the Ismails, and they're based out in Durban. So Ahmed and I visited their home, decided to chat to the family as they prepare on their journey embarking to India. They impart some very important information about how they feel about the tour, what they're expecting to see, and as an elderly couple now spending their time traveling the world, what the expectations are. The interesting thing is that as I sat with him that day, I just realized that I think traveling to India is a dream for many people. And like with the Ismails, that certainly is one. We're doing something different, and that's decided to rock up at one of the passengers' homes that's actually going with us on the trip tomorrow to India. But before I go in and find out how they're feeling about the trip and what their sentiments are, the excitement and the anticipation, I must admit that on my way to their home, I started thinking about something. And I'm thinking about the fact that I've traveled many times in my life, but going to a place where we are going to find and look at the rich history of all these saints, their biographies, their examples, and going into that very inner sanctum of it all is something that sort of just got to my mind. And I think that's what's on the minds of passengers, is that excitement, that feeling, getting right into the middle of that life, those stories we read, those biographies that we see, and to just have a taste and a smell of it all. So it's the day before we leave. We're going to catch up with these guys, find out what's going on with them. They are packing, they're preparing. As we pulled up with the car, I could see the excitement. And I think let's find out exactly how's it going to go with them.
We waited for this trip for 3 years, and Allah made it that we must go there. And we're so happy this trip is going to make a lot of difference to my family, which is also that will, make them attempt to go to these places. They haven't been out of the country. They were just around the country, Cape Town and back here. But now, inshallah, with this trip, the eyes will open. We'll say, right, we want to go with our family, which we already did. 3 trips. We went to Makkah and Medina and came back. And this now we made for this is supposed to be very first one, but now this is the last one. But inshallah, we don't know. We make another trip, which we're happy to go again. Maybe we'll drag the family to slowly. This is how family come very close contact link. This is what we're waiting for. Service is very good. I'm happy about it. We give him the service that he wants. I think you know what it is. I must tell what it is. Right, we are the people, very famous Halim people, that we sell by a Rangri service station. And I think a lot of people know that we, and also the people takes quietly and go away in that side. And the very first time that I thought was my first attempt that I thought was my mother. I'm carrying on my back and going inside the water. And then they say, oh, this is Haji Ali, you know. So I'm so happy about that. That was always in my mind. One day, inshallah, I will go. And there's a time came where I'm so happy about that. About y'all, Deen, about the trip. No, we heard on the Deen TV because we're very close to Deen TV. All the time we're watching. 3/4 of our time is spent on Deen TV, and also we heard from I don't know, Al Ansar or radio station, but I'm more glued on the TV.
They've actually been, I think they've been contemplating this trip for a long time, and it's just been pushed away every time. And this time when it came up, it was very rushed. I phoned Mitas, I found out if they were available to go on this trip. We didn't even know how extensive the trip was. They just said there's a trip coming up, let's go. And they were so excited because they've been waiting to go. They talk about the places. They're always, you know, wishing to go. And when I spoke to them and said there's space for the two of you, then they started phoning all the families and telling them all about it. And families have been sending messages and video clips and things for them to, you know, salams and reminders, you know, make dua for us when you are in certain places and remember us there and take it easy and be safe. Up to today, they've been receiving calls and calls about this. And when you're done with the trip, please come home and come spend time with us. So it's been very exciting. For us, it's exciting as well. It's a bit scary because they're going on their own, but we kind of like happy because because Uncle Salim is there and the rest of you guys are there, so they're pretty much guided, but very exciting. And we're waiting to see it from the whole perspective of it, the entire thing. I will miss them. My kids will miss them too much. We're here every day. Although I don't live here, but we practically live here, so it'll be you can say the house will be empty for the next 2 weeks, so it's going to be lonely, but we'll be thinking about them and trying to visualize from the itinerary where they are and what they'll be doing. So we've made copies and kept it for the families, and so everyone will be, you know, we'll more or less know where they are and what they're doing.
On this particular trip, there are two types of people traveling. One is the passengers going on the trip that wants to see India and explore India from a tourist point of view. And then it's me and my crew, and that's from a film perspective, going out there to create this very documentary that you're watching right now. Well, so the preparation for that is distinctly different. The passengers prepare from a holiday perspective. Me and my crew and the team at Deen TV prepare from the perspective of going on a shoot. Well, that can be fairly different. So we decided to pop around just before departing to the airport at the Deen TV offices in Durban, our regional office, to talk about the preparation. So I chat to Ahmed Mohammed, who's key with me on the trip, managing most of the affairs, about what his thoughts are, what goes into shooting abroad, some of the issues that we might experience, some of the challenges, technicalities, and how best to prepare from a crew perspective. Also chat to Assam Jogi, our board chairman at Deen TV and the regional director in the KZN area, to find out how he's feeling. I personally felt that he is feeling fairly sad to be left alone at the Durban office to fend for himself, but guess what? We thought he'd be just fine.
You know, we've done similar trips, but this time we're going to India. We've been to Saudi Arabia, where we've covered Umrah with yourselves, so with Faizal and Ahmed covering that. But this time we're going to India, and our viewers keen and very excited to have a TV crew accompany them, because there's going to be memories they're going to be able to bring back, which normally is captured on sort of amateur kind of videos. So they're going to be very excited about that. But for us, it's a new venture, and I think it's the first of many that is still to come. I've been to India a few times, but the very last trip we did on a similar kind of trip, we went with a group of about 65 people. Some very prominent people that were there. The late Safi Siddiqui was on the trip. We had Maulana Faizal Khan that was on the trip. So we had a nice group, a very nice sort of get together. But I think if you had to ask me to give advice to anybody, I would say go there with a very open mind, accept things as they happen, And as the old saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and really let it flow. If you're going to go there with a very constricted mind and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that, you're going to have a miserable trip. So go with a very open mind. It's very important that you go with an open mind, and most importantly is make the best of whatever you see, whatever you experience, because we've had some major experiences. If you really want me to tell you about that, you're going to need a couple of hours, but we've had some very, very good experiences on that. Well, guys, I think very simply putting it, I think the people that are going with, which is yourself, Faizal and Ahmed, are very experienced in this type of trips. You're going to have a very good time. You're going to have an excellent time there, and it all depends on the passengers. Ultimately, the group that goes with makes the trip or breaks the trip. So hopefully we're going to have a good group going with, and people will just flow into whatever happens as it happens, inshallah.
Okay, so generally when you guys watch TV shows, what you actually see is the very pristine cuts, all the things that go right, and all the things that doesn't happen behind the scenes. Before you watch any of the shows, be that my show, any other show, a documentary, or any other TV series in the world, there's a lot that happens before that. People don't rock up in studio and everything is ready. It's a very complex and highly technical business, and lots goes into the technicality. I always tell my team that 90% of it is technical and preparation, and 10% of it is shoot. And you watch the 1% of what we do. And that's a very interesting dynamic, because on this show I decided that we're going to give you everything as it happens. So that's the behind the scenes, that's the nitty-gritty of things, from the tiredness to the traveling, to the perceptions, the ideas of other passengers, their philosophies, their experiences, their thoughts, what they like, what they don't like. We're going to go through all of that. So this documentary is different. It's different from the point of view that it's not an epic movie. What it is a real account of the real situations in front and behind the camera. So Ahmed and I normally meet on these trips. He's going to be traveling with me amongst some other people. And generally, so we're flying out later today, like I said, and generally what happens in the morning is we're now sitting in an area where equipment is stored and prepared in the Durban office, and they are doing their final checks. I'm quickly chatting to Ahmed to find out about what he normally goes through before the trip. I normally think about the things that I need to say and what I don't need to say. Oh, I'm at the point where I don't worry about what I don't need to say anymore. but I normally chat to them to find out what it is that they prepare for on the trip, because it's tricky. You go into another country, and when you go into another country, you're not always sure whether you're going to have the correct batteries, the correct supplies of things. What if a particular wire goes down? So basically at the Deen TV studio in Cape Town and Durban, if a wire goes down or a battery goes down, we're easily able to replace that, because it's on standby all the time. But now you're traveling to a foreign country, supplies might not be the exact same, compatibility for items and that kind of thing. So we're very wary about all those things. Ahmed, generally in preparation, what is your biggest concerns, especially knowing that we're going to multi-cities? I mean, we're going through about 10, 12 cities in the next 2 weeks.
I think the challenge is more that you have the spare equipment with, which is more we're not worried about the camera so much, but more the batteries and those type of things, because when you're traveling and whether we're going by train or you're flying, and especially if you're gone a whole day from the hotel, and we do what we need to do on the road, and if your battery runs out, there's not always a charge point, because you're sitting in a taxi or you're sitting in a bus or you're sitting somewhere else. And I think when your battery goes down, then basically the shoot stands still. And I think for me the battery is most important, that it's charged all the time. Also that because we're away, so to clear the memory card out all the time, to take all the footage off,
the data, make sure. So it's data management.
Yes, so the management of those things, those are where the important things lie. The cameras and those gear are there. It doesn't really break that quick. It's not something that goes flat or goes down. So it's everything else that makes the thing work, that where the storage goes to, and to actually have your backup hard drive. So like we have our hard drive, we'll have a backup hard drive with in this case, because in case anything happens, you don't want to lose the data, because if the data is gone, then we lose everything that needs to show this film to the viewers out there.
So how does the team normally deal with security around equipment and around shoots, especially knowing that these things are not always planned? We're jumping off a train. It's like the Amazing Race or something. You're jumping off a train, running onto another bus, getting a shot there, and you capture things as it happens. And that's different on a documentary style shoot. You're capturing things as it happens. So how do you guarantee safety and security around all of that?
I think that lies on us as we do that type of work, because be able to shoot with a clear mind, not worrying where the equipment is, which means you actually have to drag everything along with you wherever you're going, especially when you're on the road. Before you can even set the shoot up, you have to make sure that that box with all the equipment is with you or by your side before you even start the shoot. Because there's no point you're going to start shooting and the box is laying somewhere else, and when you come there again, then someone has stolen or picking up and ran away with it. So I think that sometimes is the worry when you're actually shooting outside the country, and it's not in-house. Even if you're going away, you can shoot most probably in studios overseas, but that's not the case. We're doing a documentary, so we're on the road all the time. And so, like I said, you have to be dragging your box, making sure the equipment is in there all the time. So when you're busy with the shoot, we know we have it on us, because that's the only time we can see it there.
So I know that one component is making sure that it all happens in the correct way when it's supposed to happen. There's no room for error on this one. But you personally, how do you feel going to a country that you haven't been before, experiencing maybe something that you've seen all your life in terms of a little bit of Bollywood maybe?
No, I'm excited. I think you hear a lot about India especially. And I mean, the experience for the first time, I mean, you hear a lot of funny stories and crazy stories going on there. So I think to be there and to actually witness it and to see, like, because I have a lot of family that went there before. I think I had my auntie most probably went there 4 or 5 times already in the last 6-7 years. And she loved the place, so she goes all the time. So the stories they tell you, my uncles tell us, and the things that happen there, they will come and spend, when they come back, they tell us, they will sit there 5 hours telling us all the funny things, and we will laugh from when they come till when they go home. So to witness what they saw there and when they were there is very exciting, because now there's a chance that I can see that for myself at the same time.
Of course. So our next step now is, I think the crew is going to pack up. It's South African time, and I'm starting to think about time in Dubai and time in India already. We are going to be flying into the future, I think. I think India is about 3.5 or 4 hours ahead of us. So we'll feel the impact of that a bit later. It's now 11 o'clock in the morning, Durban. We leave to the airport at about 2-3 this afternoon. The aircraft departs at about 6:30, and we get to Dubai at about 5 in the morning. So the next point of call now is to chat to you guys at the airport, see what some of the passengers are up to, their thoughts, perceptions, and the excitement. We're known for this etiquette. Every airport will get on. Just got to the airport. The time is 3 o'clock South African time. The flight's off for 6, as I said. We are the first ones that came in. Now that's astonishing, because we're normally last. So what's happened now was we went through the processes, and the processes generally is to take your bags, check them in. After that, go through immigration on the side, and then That's where they check your passport and make sure that your paperwork's in order as you're leaving the country. Salimitha is with me, and he's from Shumitha Travel, as you found out in the first episode. What are some of the things that one watches out for when you come through here? This can be a tricky environment to come through.
Yeah, number one is you must make sure that your baggage has got the correct weight. You're allowed on Emirates 24 kilos each bag, so you're allowed 2 bags, and 7 kilos for your hand luggage. So once it's overweight, they tell you, okay, take your stuff out. The other thing is you must just be careful that you have your pouch or your passports and everything with you at all times. Don't leave it on the trolley. We had an incident now. Fortunately, it was one of the guys.
We're going to tell you who it is. That's Ahmed Mohammed, our camera guy.
Our camera
He decided to donate our passports to somebody else. Thank God they gave it back to us.
When we go through immigrations, that's it, and now we're going to be boarding the plane.
So we'll catch up with you on board somewhere along the line and keep you posted throughout the process. I just had some thoughts. Years later, after traveling India, you can still hear the calls of the chaiwalas and the silence of the desert, see and smell the smoke of the Ganges, and see the pale gold Varanasi sunrise. This trip takes us through the paths treaded by sages, discovering their biographies and life lessons, and we visit the most magnificent sights. Now that we have taken off into the sunset, do join us on this next riveting episode as you get to explore India with us as it happens. Do visit the website www.faizalsayed.co.za for more information on the upcoming episodes.